Greetings. In this video, I'm gonna start, in a different manner, and then we'll come back to proving that Christians are the worst among the worst of the Antichrist. Among the ignorant, foolish things that the Christians are doing today, they're abusing some verses in the book, like what came in John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. And the Word became flesh. They are miserably brainless. They don't have any brain to think. They made this like incarnation. The Word became flesh. Now, before the Word become flesh, we need to know who spoke this Word. If He is God, He is God. Then who spoke Him? Who spoke, since this God is a Word, who spoke this Word? This is what John stole from a philosopher, Greek philosopher named Philo. He said the same combination. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. But in Philo, in the Greek language, he differentiated between theos and theo. Theo means the Lord Almighty. Theos, a God. A God means a human being, or from God. So this word from God. According to Islam, it is clearly described that the angel said, the Lord will create him, Jesus, with one word. Is this the same with John 1:1? Yes, it is. But we have to go back to Genesis. What happened in Genesis? The first man ever to exist, not in the beginning was Jesus. No, he wasn't. We'll talk about that later on. In the beginning was God, and He said, let us make man on our image after our likeness. Miserable words. But this is not the time to discuss this evil. And then those words changed into flesh. The Word became flesh in Adam. You have it for 2,000 years, miserable Christians, and you don't understand it. The Word became flesh in Jesus like it became flesh in Adam. God spoke a word, let us make man. And the Word became flesh. No incarnation. Incarnation is an evil, rotten idea in Hinduism. There is no incarnation. The word incarnation does not exist in your vocabulary and book called Holy Book. What's so holy about it? Very well. Now, all right, let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, another thing that you offend the words of Jesus so much because you never listen to him. Whatever, we are gonna go to Paul, believe me, later on to show you how miserable you are for following this evil man, evil spirit, rotten Antichrist. Okay, let's continue. Matthew 7:1. Judge not, that ye be not judged. Do not pass judgment. Christians in the U.S. today are the worst when it comes to judging all Muslims by terrorists. The vast majority, I'm not talking all Christians, the vast majority, the extremists among Christians, because of stupid ISIS and Al-Qaeda, those miserable few, very bad minority, all Muslims become terrorists. Yet Jesus said, judge not. But when they ever listen to anything Jesus said in their book? All right, let's see how they insult Jesus. how Christian, the miserable Antichrist, insult Jesus by following Paul, by the way. This is one example. We'll have so many. Galatians 3:13, chapter 3, verse 13. Christ redeemed us from the curse of the law by becoming a curse for us. For it is written, cursed is everyone who is hung on a pole. Now, sometimes it's a tree, sometimes it's a cross, and now it's a pole. And the miserable Christians, they do not differentiate. In the book of Acts, it says tree. In the book of Matthew and the rest, it says cross. Now, Paul says a pole. Because they do not differentiate what is a tree, what is a pole, what is a cross. A pole is one stick. A tree is branches. A cross is two sticks. Anyway, no need to discuss this. But let's discuss the insult to Jesus Christ. They call him compulsive liar. They call him the most evil, carrying all the sins of the world. They call him Beelzebub, the chief of demons, Satan himself. They call him the serpent, similar to the serpent, the picture of serpent, the snake, that Moses drew and left on a board, and all the Israelis who were poisoned healed. So Jesus is like that serpent, and John tells us that the serpent of Genesis is nothing but Satan. So they call Jesus by Satan all the time in the Old Testament, in the New Testament. Sorry. So now Jesus is cursed. Listen, becoming a curse for us. Jesus became a curse for us. Anyone hanging on a pole or a tree or a cross is cursed. Dear evil, rotten Baptist who say Jesus is God, your God is a curse or cursed. You don't need anybody to say, cursed is your God. You curse him for the last 2,000 years. Again, congratulations, in order. Very good job, indeed. Very well. Again, calling Jesus a compulsive liar, we go to John, the book of John. Jesus is speaking. What he says: for the Father is greater than I. For the Father is greater than all. This is what the book of John, literally, I'm telling you what book and what he said. Now we come to Paul and the Christians. Paul say it's not a robbery to say that Jesus Christ is equal to the Father. And Christians say all the time that Jesus is equal to God. And some Christians, the miserable Baptists, say he is God. This man, born of sin, because he's born from a woman, is God. Their God is born of sin. A sinful God. This is how miserable. So again, Jesus say, for the Father is greater than I in the book of John. And then in Paul, we say, it's not a robbery that he is equal or have the fullness of deity in a body, in a flesh. And all Christians ignore completely what Jesus said, for the Father is greater than I. And they believe this rotten, evil Paul, the Antichrist, the worst of the worst among the Antichrist, when they say he is equal to the Father. No, he is not. If an insect is equal to an angel, then Jesus is equal to deity or any prophet. Let's go to one more lie. Okay, Jesus says in John 5, chapter 5, verse 31, If I testify about myself, if he says something about himself, he testifies, my testimony is not true, means that I lied. Then we go to 12, verse 12. It says, when Jesus spoke again to the people, he said, I am the light of the world. He's testifying to himself. In one verse, in the same book, John, he says, if I testify for myself, then I'm lying. Then he says, I am the light to the world. Did he lie? Was he a compulsive liar? This Baptist God? A compulsive liar for a God. Then, the Pharisees, came and they said, the Pharisees challenged him, here you are appearing as your own witness. Your testimony is not valid, even based on his words. On his words. So, did Jesus recognize the mistake that he did? No, he did not. He got angry. Listen to what he says. Jesus answered, even if I testified to my own behalf, and the other sentence, if I testify on my behalf, then I am lying. My testimony is valid. Here he is valid. Okay? He's a hypocrite, according to Christians. A hypocrite. He says one thing and then, he contradicts himself. For I know where I come from, where I came from, and where I'm going, but you have no idea where I come from or where I am going. This is the answer. In one sentence you say, you're lying if you testify for yourself, and now you are angry against those who are telling you what is wrong with you. This is a hypocrite attitude. And then he answered, where I come from, where I'm going, and nonsense, gibberish. This is Jesus. This is what you want us to believe. You want to know the true Jesus? Go to the Quran in Muslim hand and see how wonderful the man is. Not this miserable description that you have for him. Evil, rotten, satanic, against a wonderful man like Jesus. Jesus is a Muslim, prophet, messenger, one of the mighty. You are insulting a messenger of 2 billion Muslims today, named Jesus Christ or Isa, alayhi salatu wasalam. You are insulting one of Muslims' major messenger and prophet, like you are insulting Muhammad. So you are doing the same. Rotten is rotten. What to expect from you? No, Jesus is not a compulsive liar. You are the compulsive liars. You are demonic in how you portrayed this wonderful man, messenger, prophet of the Lord, the Son of Mary, not the Son of God. Till next time.